Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In today's video, we're going to dive into Cardano and specifically the price action of the ADA coin. As we get into this video, guys, if you find it useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, make sure you do go ahead and click on the subscribe button, click the bell and select all notifications. This way you will not miss another Cardano update. Right, with all this said, done and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at what's been going on recently with the ADA coin. Okay guys, here we are on Cardano to the USDT. This is the weekly chart and we are using Binance as a data source. Now it's important that we just acknowledge what is going on this weekly chart. Now we have Elliott theory, 5 impulse waves to the upside here. Starts over at the March crash, right? March 2020, we had the crypto crash, along with many of these other spaces all around the pandemic. And ultimately, this actually was a good starting position for the bull run. Now, this actually peaked up here towards July of 2020 with the secondary wave actually kind of completing by September, although there was lots of sideways trading until the end of the year. Once we're into the new year, I think so many people in the space were aware, we did go up significantly, setting some fantastic highs. And then of course, the top of wave 3 was set over in May of 2021. So that was actually a very significant position. And what I can do is actually just show you what that looked like from here to here. So it was about 14,500% in gains from March 2020 through to May 2021. So very significant gains were made with Cardano. Now we had a small pullback for wave 4, which was unusual because normally with a wave 4, this would normally be about 40% of whatever wave 3 was, right? So in theory, we should have actually dropped down much lower than we actually did with Cardano. It actually held its ground very, very well. So this was a good, strong position and has had a good recovery in line with what Bitcoin has been doing recently. And we're right up there now at a major resistance line. And I will show you this on the daily because it's a lot easier to see, but there is a $1.48 line that was previously an area of resistance over here, and that's exactly where we are right now, right? So interestingly enough to see what's going on, but ultimately this resistance line is something that we need to breach through in order to have a significant run to the next level. Now, obviously, a lot of people are interested in knowing where things are going. So we obviously have this fifth wave. Now, the fifth wave, I've put it up there at $10. Now, $10 is not actually supported technically. $7.20 is the technical top, but there's many things that are happening with Cardano that are outside of the technicals right now. So I've put this up there at $10, but I also marked up $15 and $20. Now, I don't think we'll go much higher than 10 in this particular cycle, but I would like to be wrong, and I have left these up here just to be there for reference points. Now, anyone who caught my video on the 2025 ADA price prediction, check that video out if it's of interest to you. But obviously, finishing this particular bull run with a reasonable retracement could basically see Cardano's price rally significantly in the 2025 bull run. So check that video out if it's of interest to you. Now, let's get back into this video with what's been going on most recently. The other part of this weekly chart that's really important that we understand is the stochastic relative strength index. Unlike Bitcoin, that is actually now heading up towards an overbought area, this Cardano chart, basically the stochastic relative strength index on this weekly chart is still oversold. It's at 8.7, which is indicating a very nice run on the horizon here for Cardano. Obviously, we are on a weekly chart, so we are talking about weeks and months, but the significance of this in comparison to that of Bitcoin is indicating that there is going to be a very nice run due with Cardano's ADA in the very near future, Q3, Q4, going into 2022. So again, with all this fundamental project development work that is due for release, smart contracts, the Alonzo hard fork, for example, all the way through to the Hydra solution for scalability, the millions of people who are going to onboard from Ethiopia, let alone anything else that's going on maybe in Tanzania. Ultimately, what we're seeing here is a mass adoption of the Cardano blockchain and a lot of fundamental shifts in the crypto space as well. 100 companies porting over from Ethereum over to Cardano's ecosystem once those smart contracts roll out is a clear example of market share going away from Ethereum over to Cardano. This is what the technical data doesn't support just yet, and why a $10 price prediction in my mind is actually pretty reasonable. Right. Obviously, now we know that we are oversold on this weekly chart. We've come up against some resistance, and we have those 5 impulse waves to the upside with an expectation to land somewhere between $7.20 and $10. Let's obviously remember this, because this is the big picture. It's always what we are working towards. Now we're going to jump down into the smaller time frames and see what they're talking about. So we're going to first of all jump down into our hourly. Our daily chart. Now the daily chart, as I said before, we can see this major resistance line. I'm going to zoom right out here. This resistance line is $1.48, right? This is an area that we come up to on many occasions. Over here, for example, we retested it over here. We tested it here, got rejected from it. So we had 3 rejections from this area before we eventually had that breakthrough event, right? This is then testing this area again as a support line before breaking it and really pushing back down. And again, testing it again with a head and shoulder pattern here before falling back down lower. And now we're retesting it again right now. So this is an interesting testing position for Cardano, currently set at $1.47 at the point of recording this video. Ultimately, this daily chart does need a correction on its stochastic. Here we can see that actually it's above the threshold. 80 is anything above 80 is of course overbought, and we're sat at 81. So significance of this means that we are looking for a correction on the daily chart. But does the hourly support this correction just yet? Because we can of course be sustained as an overbought area on this stochastic relative strength index for a while yet. Now there is a clear trend forming here, so eventually I am going to have to stop using the stochastic in favor of course, the relative strength index. When I will, just for this purpose of this video, put this on now for you guys so you can see what that looks like. And when we put this on, we can see that we're not quite actually overbought just yet, and we're actually heading there, but we are not actually at that point where we are overbought. So therefore, there is still potential in this particular chart here to allow us to continue the run to the upside or potentially pierce through the $1.48. But again, the hourly is the one that's going to really show us whether or not it's possible at this particular point in time, or whether a correction is due. Anyone who's watching the Bitcoin video that I did earlier today will know that I'm expecting Bitcoin to have a correction soon, and therefore many of these altcoins, including Cardano, will also likely have a correction. And what we'll do on the hourly is see if we can find a sensible area to correct down to. So although we are pushing hard to get above this $1.48, we have to be mindful that if Bitcoin has a correction, so will, of course, Cardano. Now, there are many areas on this daily chart that are important for us. The main one is where we're pushing right now, the $1.48. Above and beyond this, we obviously, of course, need to address the key areas that we're looking for, which comes in at $1.91. This is where the 618 area of the Fibonacci retracement tool sits. And obviously the $2.15 is another huge milestone. But to get there, we obviously have to push through several other areas. Right now, the 382 should be a priority, along with the 50% retracement zones. These are areas where we've had serious amounts of consolidation, where we are testing support and resistance against these areas. And once we get up into this area here, it's actually not too bad. There's a couple areas of resistance, and it's going to be a little bit of turbulence to try to get through here. But once we are through, we're off to the races, and we'll get past this all-time high without any issue. And I think this is ultimately going to happen towards the end of August and potentially the beginning of September, once we start seeing that smart contracts roll out and we start seeing basically market share move from Ethereum over to Cardano. Many projects are launching as well, so there's a lot of hype going on around this project. So also at the same time, we could anticipate a bit of a pullback on and around the launch of the smart contracts on the platform. Although there's a lot of fantastic things occurring, ultimately people are building positions ahead of that, and they usually sell the news. So we have to be aware of it. But I think ultimately long term, where we are heading is much, much higher than some of these smaller numbers anyway. So again, you take opportunities to dollar cost average better positions whenever possible. So therefore, we're building big positions ahead of that $7.20 or $10 price prediction for Cardano. Let's jump down into our hourly view. And again, here we can see what has been recently going on. We've been trading between a couple of really key areas. We also did attempt to get past this area on several other occasions, and we are approaching it right now. And we have got the ability on the relative strength index to actually do it. But let's check out to see if the stochastic is also in line with that thinking, or whether or not a pullback is due. Now, with this, it's an interesting one because we have actually just pulled down a little bit. That could give us the momentum to come right up into here and then actually push through and back test and use it as a support line. It's possible, but it's very unlikely. It's not probable. I reckon the most likely scenario is that we fall down towards this area here of $1.44, use this as a support line, and then go up and take out these areas here, maybe target that $1.50 resistance line. That seems like the most sensible option to allow this hourly stochastic to basically get corrected a little bit lower and then have a boomerang effect back to the upside. There's a lot going on this hourly chart, and ultimately I think that's the most sensible scenario considering the amount of consolidation that was happening over here, and we can see what of space on the stochastic relative strength index that was utilized during this motion. Now, looking at this, I think if we did actually go up and head to these higher areas here, a back test is going to be absolutely vital on $1.48. So again, that's something to be looking forward to, because as we surge up, there's going to be a dollar cost average better position here ahead of going up towards the $1.58 area. So there's a lot to kind of look forward to on Cardano, and lots of different ways to build better positions. And of course, I think ultimately always important that we don't get too focused in on these hourly views or these daily views, when all that really matters from an investor's point of view is to hodl, hence the merch today, and basically look forward to what is coming in this fifth wave, where we are heading and what is likely to happen as we close Q3 and go into Q4. These are key milestones for Cardano, with so many fantastic developments on the horizon of launch that the price expectation of Cardano's ADA is likely to follow suit too. That being said, there's many projects launching, brand new projects launching on Cardano's ecosystem as well. And these coins that are associated with these projects have huge potential too. So if any of you are members, you will know what Chris has been doing recently, talking about a lot of these new Cardano projects on the channel, and it's recommended that you guys do check those videos out and do more research on those projects, because some of those are going to see significant returns on investment upon launch. And guys, if you did find this video useful and informative, then please do go ahead and hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. If you happen to be new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe and select all notifications. With that being done, you will not miss another update on Cardano. Right. With all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one.